So supposedly this other social media app, Blue Sky, is a competitor to X or Twitter, but I've never heard of it until someone mentioned it on Twitter
Lately,
itself.
there's been
So
a lot of chatter about a new social media platform.
Social media sites and ex-competitor Blue Sky now sitting above 21 million users on the platform.
Blue Sky says it has seen 1 million new users since the presidential election.
Blue Sky is rapidly becoming the go-to place for refugees from X.
Blue
what do you
Sky
mean
is a
refugees?
decentralized social media platform and the brainchild of Twitter founder Jack Dorsey, who conceived Blue Sky as a side project inside Twitter in 2019. Blue Sky, which is no longer affiliated with Dorsey, is now its own company. And following the US election, the platform got an influx of new users, mostly from individuals looking to flee X. Some of those users include billionaire Mark Cuban, New York Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and author Stephen King, among others.
I think there's a couple of things that are drawing users into Blue Sky. Primarily, it's the fact that there's no billionaire associated with Blue Sky, right? So if you go to Threads, you're still within the Zuckerberg empire. If you go to X, that's associated with Elon Musk. So for a lot of users, Blue Sky is a healthy alternative for them.
We're building an open source social network that anyone can take into their own hands and build on. And it's something that is radically different from anything that's been done in social media before.
At the end of the day, most social media platforms are trying to win over advertisers and not the end user. And so what we've done at Blue Sky is we have prioritized the end user as our primary citizen on our platform.
That's
In
good.
other words, Blue Sky has
Good for
promised
them.
to give power to the people to decide how they experience social media. The platform currently does not host ads to pay its bills, which is the business model of many other social media platforms, though its leadership has not ruled that out in the future. But whether the platform can avoid some of the pitfalls of past social media companies and continue its impressive growth as the dust settles after the election remains to be seen.
So how are they staying in business if there's no
On the
advertising on
surface,
it?
Blue Sky looks and feels a lot like old Twitter. Users can write short posts and include a photo or short video. They can also interact with the posts of others by either commenting, liking, or reposting the original post. Users' feeds consist of the people they follow, as well as any other feeds they decide to subscribe to.
We have about maybe 5 cat feeds, more than 200 Swiftie feeds, and various other feeds that are either organized chronologically or based on what your followers are liking.
There's the Discover
Chronological,
feed that I think is showing you
always.
content from all across Blue Sky. Then there's just your follower feed. So it's nothing but content from the folks that you have specifically opted into receiving content from. So I think just like making that choice is very different than what we get from Threads or X or Instagram, TikTok.
Blue Sky became an independent company in 2021 after Dorsey tapped Jay Graber to lead the new venture as CEO. In October 2022, Blue Sky opened up a waitlist for its Blue Sky app to beta users. That same month, Elon Musk completed his $44 billion deal to buy Twitter. Blue Sky, which was initially invite-only, opened up to everyone in early 2024.
Interesting take. So why
Unlike
invite
conventional
everyone
social
all of
media
a sudden?
platforms, Blue Sky is designed to be decentralized and give users a greater
There must have
degree of
been a
control
reason.
over what they see or don't see, as well as their data.
As the social media platforms got larger, you have this centralization of curation. The platform gets to decide what the feed algorithm is, so what sort of content you get to see, and it also gets to decide what sort of content is permissible or not permissible on the platform. More recently, you see platforms like Blue Sky, Mastodon taking off, and people also just exploring back to like the community roots.
We don't control what you see on Blue Sky. There's no single algorithm showing you things. You can browse a marketplace of algorithms built by other people. You can build your own algorithm. If you want to see just cats or just art, you can do that.
Threads
Do you think people who are trying to get away from certain aspects of the social media side, so when they try to find an alternative, it's because they're getting away from, let's say, their cat, for example? Do you think too many people on the feed are sharing too much of it, right? And they don't want to see it no more. So they want to be more in their own controlled environment rather than a everyone controlled environment.
rolled out a similar
It's a
feature in
possibility.
November, allowing users more control over their algorithm with custom feeds. Blue Sky is also decentralized in its physical infrastructure. Unlike traditional social media platforms, which host user data on the company's servers, Blue Sky gives users the option to host their data on their own servers, though experts say the majority of users still use Blue Sky's maintained server. The platform also allows users to port over any of their existing posts, likes, and followers to a new platform should they choose to leave Blue Sky. Blue Sky's leadership says this makes the platform billionaire-proof.
If someone bought Blue Sky or if the Blue Sky company went down, everything is open source. This means that someone else could pick it up and run with it.
Wow.
This means that what happened to Twitter couldn't happen to us in the same ways because you would always have the option to immediately move without having to start over.
But at the end of the
smart.
day, Blue
That's
Sky
crazy
is still
smart.
a business, and it will eventually need to figure out how to make money. In May of 2024, Dorsey left the platform's board over disagreements over the strategy that Blue Sky was taking.
The biggest thing that Dorsey disagreed with when it comes to Blue Sky's strategy is the fact that Blue Sky went out and has raised funding from venture capital. It's essentially starting out the same way that we've seen most other social networks start out, whether it be Facebook or Twitter. It's going to have a lot of the same incentives as those other social networks that have come before it.
In an interview with Pirate Wires, Dorsey explained that Blue Sky was repeating Twitter's mistakes, saying everything we wanted around decentralization, everything we wanted in terms of an open source protocol, suddenly became a company with VCs and a board. That's not what I wanted. That is not what I intended to help create. Upon his departure, Blue Sky thanked Dorsey for his help, but did not say much else. In lieu of Blue Sky, Dorsey has invested in Nostar, an open source protocol on which developers can help build apps, such as a social network.
You know, I'm not saying anything bad about Jack Dorsey because obviously he's got money, I don't, right? But he keeps investing into things, but then keeps leaving it too. So at what point will he actually stay somewhere and go, okay, now we're on the right track, or yes, I'm in the place I need to be? Like, where will it, or when will it come to that?
Nostar is not affiliated with any company. Blue Sky is also run on a decentralized protocol known as the AT protocol.
If you think about email or text messaging, for example, the interface for Gmail is quite different in comparison to, say, Yahoo or some other email provider. But if I send you an email from this account, you should still receive it and get the gist of it on the other platform. Same with text message. So what companies like Blue Sky are doing with these protocols is essentially bringing that same approach, but to social media. So perhaps in the future, you post something on Blue Sky and you can see it on a rival app.
At least that's how it's supposed to work in theory. In practice, Blue Sky's protocol doesn't currently work with the protocols of some of its competitors. For example, Threads and Mastodon, another decentralized social media platform, both utilize the ActivityPub protocol, which is incompatible with Blue Sky's AT protocol. Another key aspect of Blue Sky's functionality is that it lets users create and run their own moderation services, which layer on top of Blue Sky's default community guidelines by using labels to dictate what content users want to see.
What about the bot issue?
So if you want to hear about the news,
like Twitter has a bot issue, so have they managed that, or?
You can go to the news feed. But if you want to tune out politics, you can use the politics labeler and then hide all the politics from your feed and just look at other things.
Users can also subscribe to particular labelers.
So these are people who are going in and providing labels to individual posts or to people. What that then allows is then I as a user can look at all the labelers that are out there, decide here's a particular labeler that I trust, and then I can then see those labels when I am viewing my feed.
As of January, Blue Sky had over 27 million registered users. The 26-person company has raised $36 million so far and is reportedly valued at $700 million.
What?
Blue Sky's user base got a big boost in September after Brazil temporarily suspended rival X
for failing
to comply with regional content moderation policies. Another influx of users came over the month of November and into December, following the US election. While Blue Sky's user numbers...
I think that's when people started seeing too much of the politics side on their phone, which is what I was saying. Like, are they trying to limit how much they want to see, rather than an everyone-controlled environment versus a them-controlled environment?
Are a far cry from those of its major competitors, X and Meta's Threads, which are estimated to have around 600 million and 300 million monthly active users, respectively. experts say that Blue Sky's growth was nonetheless impressive.
The growth
Very
numbers
impressive.
for Blue Sky are wild. I think it's really because there's this vacuum being left, right, by old Twitter. When Elon Musk took over Twitter and it kind of became X, things changed a lot, right? You know, content moderation changed. He changed the pricing options. As he kind of navigated that transition, he lost a lot of people.
After Elon Musk took over X in 2022, he reinstated thousands of previously banned accounts and slashed around 80% of the platform's workforce, including many of the platform's content moderators.
Which is weird.
A proliferation of hate speech on the platform led to an exodus of advertisers.
Yeah.
Musk had some pointed words for them.
So if somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself.
But users also fled. Data from internet traffic firm SimilarWeb shows that deactivations of X accounts in the US surged on November 6th, with over 100,000 people choosing to leave the platform in a day.
Wow,
Another study
that's
shows that X will
crazy,
continue to
man.
lose users, with an estimated 7 million users in the US expected to quit the platform between 2022 and 2025.
This is a platform that now seems to cater more pointedly toward right-leaning or conservative users, and so I think for folks who maybe don't want to be presented with that kind of content so in their face, Blue Sky is an area that, for all intents and purposes, the mechanisms are the same, but the vibe is completely different.
So you're on a more steadier and
Despite its rapid success, some
peaceful
experts
vibe.
question if Blue Sky can continue growing at the pace that it's been. User growth is already slowing. One analysis showed that Blue Sky's daily active users on its mobile app in the US grew only 12% in December, compared to
something happened.
248% in November. Additionally, taking advantage of some of Blue Sky's unique features takes at least some level of coding, which can be daunting to the average user. It remains to be seen if users even want this level of customization.
For the vast majority of users, they don't want to go in there and be tweaking this feature and that feature. They just want to get off and running and frankly be entertained, maybe educated about what's going on in the world.
How Blue Sky will be monetized is another lingering question.
I'll tell you what we're not going to do for monetization. We're not going to build an algorithm that just shoves ads at you and locking users in. That's not our model. And so what we are going to do is give users better experiences, add new features, and then we're doing a subscription model as well as services in the developer ecosystem, because this isn't just for users. This is for people who want to come build.
So technically, the only thing that's making a profit off of this is the subscription part. But anything else, how are they making a profit on it?
Just 2 weeks later, Graeber expanded upon Blue Sky's position on ads during an interview with TechCrunch.
Does that mean that advertisers can never be on Blue Sky?
I don't think that's necessarily true, but I think that the ways that we would explore advertising, if we did, would be much more user intent driven.
For Blue Sky, at some point, they're going to have to introduce advertising. I think that's going to be key to just keeping the lights on and being competitive against the likes of X, and probably more so against Threads, which has all of the weight of Meta behind it.
Experts say even if Blue Sky did want to woo advertisers, the platform's decentralized architecture may make that tough.
If you look at X, they lost a lot of advertisers because of the change in content moderation policies. Now, if you kind of take that over to Blue Sky, where there's no set content moderation policy and it's set individually by each server, that becomes dicey for advertisers, right? At the end of the day, you want a controlled brand experience for that ad or for that piece of sponsored content.
And if they can't,
and
then
so
they're out.
there's a possibility to get a highly targeted and focused niche for your ads on Blue Sky. But then there's also the flip side of not having that platform-wide control over each server that might make brands think twice with their advertising spend.
Blue Sky has also struggled with an increase of impersonator accounts and scammers. In late November, the Blue
that's a
Sky team
problem.
announced stricter rules around identity protection and impersonation. The company also said it had quadrupled the size of its moderation team to deal with the backlog of moderation reports. While the future of Blue Sky
But
is
is it
still up in
enough?
the air, experts say decentralized platforms like it are likely to bring about further fragmentation within the social media market.
The differentiator for these platforms now isn't so much the features, but rather the atmosphere that they create within their apps.
What you might see with Blue Sky is just kind of a reflection of society where people who want that control, who want that independence, ownership, those kind of people might go to Blue Sky. People who just want some memes might be going to Threads.
True.
And people who want to get in some real heated debates might be going to X. People
Yeah.
will choose to go where their values align, where their interest aligns, where their people are.
Yeah, I agree to that. I definitely agree to that. It's like going to Reddit for either some information or just looking up something, or it's basically they're trying to create something where people can escape to and not feel as if everything's being forced down their throat and they're controlling what they want to see. Makes sense. So is Blue Sky gonna survive as the X, or if you still call it Twitter, because I still call it Twitter, the competitor with Threads growing, Instagram changing up as it is, TikTok may or may not be banned. Is Blue Sky gonna grow and be the best competition out there for everything else? We'll just have to wait and see.